A few years ago, I spent a month staying with my girlfriend at her dad's house. The place sat between dense woods and a lake, secluded and quiet. Her dad owned most of the surrounding land, including a long, narrow clearing that carved through the forest. I often walked it alone to clear my head. My girlfriend never liked the woods. One day, an unnaturally thick fog blanketed everything. I laced up my boots and told her I'd be back soon. Stepping into the clearing, I realized I could barely see 15 feet ahead. It was the heaviest fog I'd ever seen. Still, I figured as long as I stuck to the path, I'd find my way back. As I walked, something felt off. I heard what sounded like my footsteps being mirrored, perfectly timed. I stopped. The sound stopped. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. Nothing but my own breath and the crunch of leaves. I moved on, more alert now. Then I heard it, a low, breathy moan, like someone groaning in pain. My body tensed. I called again, "Hello? Are you okay?" That's when I saw it. A tall figure in the fog, just far enough that I couldn't make out any details, only that they were standing still and making that sound. I approached slowly, repeating my question. But no matter how much I walked, the figure never got closer. I stopped and shouted. The moaning stopped too. I took 2 big steps forward, still the same distance. That's when it hit me. This wasn't normal. I turned and started walking back. After a few seconds, I glanced over my shoulder. The figure was still there, same distance behind me. I ran, fast, heart pounding. Every time I looked back, same thing. It never gained on me, but never fell behind. I soon realized I couldn't see its legs. It wasn't walking. It was hovering. When I reached the yard, I looked back one last time. The figure stood just at the edge of the trees. I burst through the back door, out of breath, and shouted for my girlfriend and her family. Her dad stepped outside with me, but the figure was gone. He clapped my shoulder, reassured me that no one was getting in here with him and the dogs around. I forced a laugh, but inside, I knew something had happened out there. I don't believe in ghosts, but that came close. Later, while I was moving from my parents' place in Staten Island to a Manhattan apartment, I used Letgo to find cheap furniture. One listing caught my eye, a dresser that matched perfectly. The seller, a guy named Jake, responded quickly. We arranged to meet outside his place that night around 10:30. He said he worked late, so that was his only availability. I didn't mind. I wasn't working that week. I got there early. It was another fog-heavy night, visibility next to zero. Seconds after I parked, Jake messaged me, "You're early. Just give me a second. I'll be right out." My stomach dropped. How did he know I had just arrived? I replied, "Okay," and looked around. The street felt wrong. No real houses. Just a few rundown buildings and nothing clearly residential. He messaged again, "Come on out. The dresser's waiting out back." Out back where? I stepped out of the car and asked for directions. His reply stopped. That's when I heard it. Over here, a man's voice calling through the fog. I followed it, hesitant. I walked between 2 buildings through a narrow alley. It opened into a small yard, completely shrouded in mist. Then silence. No more voice. Just dead quiet. I called out. No reply. Suddenly, I heard, "Wait, your dresser's just right inside here. Come inside." His voice, right ahead, but still unseen. I froze. My instinct screamed at me to leave. I turned around to go back, and that's when I saw them, people, standing against a fence or wall, barely visible in the fog. Still, watching. I ran. I heard footsteps behind me more than one set. I didn't stop until I reached the road and called 911. Cops came. We returned to the yard. No people. The buildings were abandoned storefronts. The back door was open. Inside? Nothing. No dresser. Nothing at all. I showed them the chat log and the username. They said they'd investigate, but nothing ever came of it. All I know is if I'd gone inside that building, I might not be here. Last Saturday, another foggy day, this time at our place in rural New Jersey. My wife was out, and I was working in my office while my 6-year-old daughter, Veronica, played. She came to me, uneasy, and said, "There's someone in the garden." I looked out the window. She was right. A person stood at the edge of the garden, facing away. I couldn't tell if it was a man or woman. It was that foggy. I knocked on the glass. The figure turned their head, then walked deeper into the yard and vanished into the fog. I told Veronica to stay inside. I slipped on my shoes and followed, stopping when I heard a repetitive thump. It was coming from the shed. As I got closer, I saw the figure at the shed door, slamming it repeatedly. I yelled. The figure, a disheveled middle-aged woman, turned, muttered sorry over and over, and ran into the fog. That night, after we'd gone to bed, I heard the slamming again. I jumped up. My wife, worried, urged me to check it out. I grabbed a flashlight and went outside, yelling loudly. The slamming stopped. Fog still thick. Shed door wide open. Empty. Later, as I walked back through the house, Veronica stopped me crying. Look out my window. My stomach dropped. I rushed to her room and looked out through the fog. There she was, that same woman, right outside the window, hands on the glass, trying to open it. Her face was gaunt, skin cracked and sagging. Her hair wiry, gray. Eyes blank. Teeth jagged. I screamed, and she fled. We called the police. They came, took a report, but there wasn't much they could do. Just keep watch, they said. Last night, I found the shed door open again. Whatever's out there, ghost or not,